Boom. So that was just a recap and try to get back to where we were, where we are right now. So here we are today, day number 2. Thank you very much for showing up. Thank you for, getting ready. So we're going to be doing composure. We're going to be doing perspective, and we're going to be talking about the rule of thirds. That's the big one that a lot of people, they know it, but then they don't know it. You see it every single day. I'm kind of representing what TV looks like right now, right? When you look at a screen on television, you're going to see something in the lower third, which is my name, your name, etc., right? In that area, and then you're going to have this much space here and there. So you're in a rectangle, and you're going to have what's called headroom. What I see in a lot of photos is the person is way down in here somewhere, and they got all this room up here, or they're crunched over this way, and they might be looking in that direction. And when they look in that direction, there's nowhere to go right there. Everything is behind them. Or, all this other stuff, up into the nose and stuff. These are the things we're going to talk about composing the shot, really taking time to figure out what else is happening behind the lens, what's actually going on in that environment. That's one of the reasons why I teach that you should have your both eyes open first. A lot of people, they go and they close the other eye, right? And they're like, eh. And when they do that, what happens is they they don't see what's getting ready to happen right here. And so as soon as they get ready to take the picture, somebody walks in front. Or as soon as they get ready to pictures, the children run or move, or whatever it may be. So that's going to be very important as you move forward. All right. So knowing that there's no questions based on the recap, et cetera, let me go into today's information. So, all right. So light and aperture is very important. This is the first part of what we call the triangle, right? And so you got light, aperture, shutter, and then you're going to have this thing called ISO. We're going to go into all 3 of those. They make up what's called the photographer's triangle. This is called the exposure triangle because with this information, the exposure triangle, you are able to make and manipulate whatever you want when it comes to your photos. Now, I asked you to prepare some photos to share with us last week, but then when we got ready to do it, there was some issues with time, and did everybody know how to actually share their screen? So I took some time to do that so that everyone would be on board with sharing their screen. So now we're going to pick up at that point, and I want you to share your photos. Remind us of the type of photos you want to take that you're engaged in, whether it's just for the leisure of your family, like Michael had, I just want to do this for my family, or whatever it may be that you have determined, because you may change your mind by the end of class, or it may emerge like it did for Shelley. What Shelley wind up doing is she focused on 2 areas, people and landscape. And you will see this when you see her photography. And she also, as a matter of fact, 3, because she does wildlife. And actually in class, she took one of the most amazing photos of a hummingbird. But when she took it, she was able to do it on purpose because she knew and she understood shutter speed. One thing about shutter speed, you could take a photo of a hummingbird whose wings are moving at a major fast pace, and it just looks like the bird is stuck in the middle of the air. What makes it a good photo is you can see the little fluttering of this million-mile-a-minute wings, and it's very cool. So you'll get to see her work before the end of today. All right, so I want to see your work now, so I'm going to turn it over to you. And what you do is you share first, right? And once you share, choose your cohort member. So Sierra, if you was going first, you would go first, and then you would say, okay, now turn it over to Devin. And we know Devin didn't have any photos to share. So Devin would say, thank you. I don't have anything to share. I'll turn it over to Nikki and blah, 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 until we get everybody going. Okay. So I would like, Michael, can you still go first?
Yeah, I can go first. That's fine.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to get this party started with Michael, and the floor is yours. Let me make sure that you all have the ability to share. You should see down at the bottom or up, depending on where you have your bar, you'll see a green share area. It has an X on it. Next to that, it actually has a drop-down menu. You hit that menu, and it allows you to see what kind of sharing you can do. In this case, I've already done that, and all you need to do is click on the green button to share. When you click on the green button to share, you're going to see windows and basic, advanced, and files. What I'd like you to do is focus on what is your window and just go to that window and then share. So Michael, I'm going to stop talking, turn it over to you, sir. And I'm going to go off camera, but it's your floor.
Okay. I think it's going to go to my home screen first. Oh, I see.
That's fine. However, I just want to make sure you get to the
Just
best thing to do, everyone, is to bring up your main photo in front of you, just as you was going to see it without looking at us, so that all those windows are open. It's also better to get rid of or minimize any other windows that has nothing to do with class, because what's going to happen, you're going to get them all mixed up. All right, go ahead, Mike.
uh, now it's
See it?
telling me I have to quit and reopen. I'm not sure why it's saying that.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can do it anyways.
There you go. It's coming through.
All right, good.
That's your desktop.
All right, so here's Lightroom.
And here's your. Oh, okay. So you doing some editing? Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, that's where I just have all my pictures in Lightroom right now. If
Okay.
there's a format you'd rather see it in, let me know and I
Oh,
can.
no, no, no. It's whatever format works best for you
Okay.
guys. You do not have to have any particular format. It's not required. I just want you to be able to share and show and tell what is it that you like, don't like. What are you trying to do when it comes to photos? So go for it.
Okay.
Like I
This
said,
is
I'm only going off camera to reduce what's called bandwidth, right? When another person is speaking, we don't need to look at each other but we do need to look at each other when that other person's talking to us, right? So I'm doing this to reduce the bandwidth for some of us so that it doesn't reduce the quality of the video. Okay, go for it.
okay. This is from the outdoor hockey game in Raleigh, North Carolina this year, the NHL
Uh,
series where they play outdoors and usually like in football stadiums and stuff like that.
yeah, I saw that once. Yeah.
I took my camera in there this year. They allowed them. So I tried to get some cool photos and I got this one during the fireworks and the intro and everything. So uh, the one thing that's always been tough for me is lighting and trying to figure out what aperture to use when it's in a situation like this where you have like fireworks and that's super bright, but the rest of the stadium is kind of dark. So that's kind of this is just one of the ones I was going to share. So
If you was looking at that and you wanted to improve it, what's one thing you automatically can see that that you can, do something about?
I was the first thing I noticed is the fireworks are out of the screen.
Mm-hmm. Your
Um,
composure, right? The
what do you mean
composure,
by composure?
the sight, the shot could be composed. Look, I see the
I see.
streams above, but I don't see like the actual like, right? So backing out just even a little bit more, so you can get the fullness of the sparkles or whatever it is that they got going up in the air,
Right. Okay.
right? I'm missing that. I'm seeing that it's there, but I don't see it. So
Right. I got you.
got it. All right, cool.
Did you want me to show more pictures
Yeah, yeah, at
or
least three or four.
at
This
least three or
is your
four?
time. This is sharing. This is show and tell, right? Listen, and I know that sounds kind of amateur, but I like to say it that way because you're going to show. Tell us what it is that you're trying to do. What is it that you want? What makes this like really cool for you? Or man, I wish I could have did this to make it better. So that's kind of thing. Go for
Okay. This is just one I took of one of my dogs. I have two dogs, a golden retriever and a black lab. And this was just right outside my house, honestly. But I just kind of like the way the light hits his golden fur and kind of um, lightens him up a little bit. So that's another one.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Remember, this is feedback. It's not to be critical of your work. That's why you're in class, right? I'm not a major, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, look at such so and so. But I do want you to notice certain things, right? If you notice in that last photo, Mike did a great job also of the subject matter. Subject matter was in focus. The other stuff in the background was not. That's called depth of field. We're going to talk about that as we go forward. So go for it.
okay. And then and this one, it's just another one of them playing. We were just throwing the tennis ball, and
Hmm.
I guess you can see how the dog on the right is more in focus, and the other one in the background is a little out of focus. Um, I don't know. I thought it looked pretty cool.
Yep.
So
If I was saying anything, you just cut off his toes.
yeah, I
And
got you.
perspective,
Okay,
composure, setting up your shot, rule of thirds, that comes into play when we talk about that. So, yeah.
okay, that's good. All right. Do you want to go to somebody else? I can stop sharing so
Mm,
somebody else can do.
at least one more.
One more?
I
Okay.
mean, one, two, three. Yeah, one more.
Uh, let me see. Take a whole bunch
You
of
have
them.
anything that you're saying, I really want to put this up at home or
Okay.
something. Okay,
This is what I'm trying to get more into, honestly, is like landscape
awesome.
photo.
Yes.
Um, this is just from a hike I did when I was on leave I was stationed in Washington State before here. And
Okay.
then so my wife is from there. We go back there quite a bit and do a ton of hikes. It's great for hiking around there. So this is what I'm trying to get more into, just landscape photography and finding cool pictures on hikes. And that's
Yeah,
really
because you could have that
what has
as
me
a
taking
like
fun.
a screensaver. You can have that as a calendar in your at your work, that kind of stuff. Now, let me ask you a question about this because it's water. Tell me what your thoughts were about what you were trying to do with the water.
I didn't do anything. I don't know if you're talking about like
Stopping the
motion blurring.
water,
Yeah,
motion.
like
Yeah.
a long exposure. Um, I've tried to do that before, but it seems like I can't do it, especially in daylight, because it takes in so much light. If there's a trick to that, that'd be good to know. But I would like to get waterfall photos like that at some point if that's possible.
Just wanted to know if that's what something you would be shooting for, because that's what I would say in there, right? And that's shutter speed. So we'll talk about long exposure or long shutter, keeping it open for you're going to need to have a tripod though, because the tripod is what
Right.
allows you to do that.
I
All
I
right.
do have one, and I've tried before in the past, and it just the picture is completely white and blown out, all the light and everything.
You're gonna see why when you get to the ISO.
Okay.
Guarantee you're gonna be like, oh, see, here's the thing. What I'll be teaching you is how to triage your own stuff. You'll be looking at it and go, oh, I got too much exposure on the left of this photo. I have hardly any exposure on the right. Did I really want that? Yeah, I did. I like that. I like the shadows. I'm looking at the little piece of the tree that fell across there, and I could see all the details into the different skin of the bark or whatever you call, right? I like the fern that's over on the right hand side. It looks really cool. The green depth. These are all things that different people are going to look at it and see whatever they want to see. But Mike, what I want us to do and I want you to do is just notice how good you already are. And then you're going to get information that's going to help you get even better. So that's where that good, better, and best that I talked about in the beginning of class comes into play. All right. And then you have what's called also full focus, right? Everything, if you go look all the way in the back behind the water, everything you can still see the leaves and know that they're leaves, right? There's not any kind of like fuzziness about that. That's sometimes on purpose or not. Some people don't want that in focus at all. So that's depth of field as well. And we'll talk about, how you can change and manipulate that. And what it allows you to do is now go back to that same spot and you can set up and take different photos and get the results that you're looking for. So thank you, Mike. I want to ask you to do one more thing, and I will see if you know or if everybody else knows. I want anyone in the class tell Mike how he can find out the exposure, the f-stop, and the ISO of this photo. Anybody know? Just go ahead and unmute and tell them how to find it before you do it, Mike. Um, don't go anywhere yet.
Okay.
Mike's trying to get up out of here. He's like, okay, I'm done. Whew, I
No,
was first.
you're good. You're good.
Anybody? Anybody know? Nikki, you don't know? God, you knew I was gonna call you because you said nothing. Nikki, you was in class. All right. So what I like you to do, Mike, is right click on the photo. And down there, you're gonna see you get a number of things. You got export, share, link, blah, blah, blah. Edit in Photoshop, do click, okay. And usually in this right clicking, you will get a list. I don't know what it is on this because you're inside the editor, Lightroom. But what it will do, it will give you that information about the photo. So let's see, where
I
else
think
can
if I
it
go
be?
down here, it'll do it too.
Okay, all right,
Uh,
because you're already in an editor. If you were in a regular spot, there it is. I think that's it, right? No, that's yeah, that tells you your lens and all that. Could you look at see what that says?
yeah, so
Uh, Make,
on 18
model,
to
what
105 f4.
Yep, there you go. So there's a way when you're looking at your photo. Thank you, Mike. I just wanted to show that it's available there. Because you're in Lightroom, it's in a different space only because it's ready for you to do editing. But all that information electronically has been entered onto your photo. All right. And if you even, yeah, you can go there, hit that button, and let's see if it says like, uh, go to the bottom all the way down and see if it says properties or anything like that. Looking for the words that would
Yeah,
give us
I've
that.
I've seen what you're talking
Eh,
about before. I just don't see
yeah,
it right now. Or
no problem. Well, anyway, if outside of it, what you would do is you right click on there and it will give you properties or it'll tell you exactly what it is. Some of you, depending on how you have your computer set up, it will give you that information. So do know that that's very, very key information. And when you do your final report at the end of class, everyone is going to be asked to participate in a final presentation. It's more like a before and after. You're going to show what kind of stuff you were doing before you started, and then what did you learn to show that you actually learned something in this class. This is an experiential learning class. It's built on information layered on another information layered on another information. All right. Thank you, Mike. You
yes,
can
sir.
stop sharing at this
I
time. And
found it
once you
right here
found
if
it,
you were
oh, okay, you found it.
interested. It is right
All
there.
right.
So
Tell us
ISO
what it is.
800,
What's the ISO?
800,
All right. What's the f-stop?
uh, 4,
4.0, right?
4.0,
And what's the shutter speed?
1/60th.
Over 160, right?
Yeah.
So that's real critical information, everybody. Who wants to tell me what does the ISO tell us? Anybody? Anybody know already?
Is it light sensitivity?
Yes, it's a way to get light sensitivity information. Yes, it's associated with light sensitivity, right? It's a standard of that I'm going to share, but yeah, it does work to give you that information. What else? What does the once over 160 seconds mean? Anybody?
It's how long the shutter is open.
The speed of the shutter. Yes, very good, very good. And the actual size of it is the 18 millimeter that you see. That tells you how large the circle was or what have you, right? So those three things are part of the exposure triangle. And if Mike wanted to shoot this photo and make it look like it's at night, there's only one major change that he can make and actually change the whole thing. And that would be his ISO. Right? So I'll talk more about this, but I wanted to show you that you have so much information right here at your fingertips that's going to help you improve your photos just overnight. All right. All right. Thank you, Mike. And go ahead and pick who's going to go next.
Oh, you want me to pick?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll just go.
They can't say Dwayne called me out. I'm like, nope, Mike did it.
Dang, now I get thrown under the bus. Uh, I guess Sierra, do you have anything?
You're muted, Sierra. There we
Yep.
go.
I just had to
Okay.
refine my mute. Yeah, I've got a
All right.
couple of them. Let's see how share screen works.
There we go. Everybody else, be prepared. Already have your stuff up and ready to go. That way you can just go right into the share part. There you go. All right. So tell us, go ahead and take us through what you got there, Sierra.
Okay, so this picture was in Hawaii. It's up at the Haleakala crater. And it's one of the things that, and I don't know that any camera is going to be this perfect, and how you go back and forth, but I like how detailed like the colors and the rocks actually are, and how detailed the forward scenery really came about. I mean, even beyond kind of the red peak, you can see some detail in the peak kind of behind that. But one of the things I like is, you know, putting family in it, and I figure my daughter almost has a little bit of blurriness to her because it chose to focus in on the landscape. And then, of course, because you have the darkness of the reds, the clouds themselves are so bright that you don't get the detail that the clouds had in it. So I kind of struggle looking at some of the pictures with, you know, I don't know if it's possible to have that kind of detail with the landscape there, but still have the person you're trying to photograph be in focus. And then having that color differential between the bright white of the clouds and kind of the darker ground, if you just have to kind of do what I did here, which is give up the detail in the clouds in order to get that detail in the darkness of the crater.
Okay. Very good, very good. And there is a way, more than likely, also, the detail of the clouds is still there. We
Okay.
can't see it with our eyes, but if you was in Lightroom like Mike had, or you were in the Pixel, which is I'm going to share with you guys a place to go, or even in Canva now. But there is a way for you to change the exposure time and actually, you know, reduce that light in the sky and see some of the details of the cloud. If you look to the right where your daughter's head is, up above her head, you can see that there's some clouds, you know, detail there. Then if you go to the left, all the way across from your daughter's glasses and then go up about an inch, you'll see some clouds there. So there are some details that you can, that's there. I can see them. You know, probably other people in class can see them. It would be just bringing that out. And that's something that some people will do in editing. What they would do is double exposure. They would take the first exposure and that would be your main exposure, right? Like you have here. Then they
Mm-hmm.
would take that same photo into Photoshop and they would bring out the details of the sky and layer it over top of this photo. And now you have the detailed sky layered over the crispy of your daughter in her coat, in her, you know, sleeve. You can see her hair. You can see the glasses. You can see the reflection in her eyes, and you can see the craters. That's when you know you got some real cool stuff happening,
Okay.
right? But that's
Yeah.
going to probably happen in after effects because, or after, excuse me, in editing, only because when you took the shot, that part was you were like, okay, what do I give? What do I take? And you always going to be given and taken in some cases. But what you're going to find after we do this class, you're going to have a better understanding of why that sky was like that. And how could I have maybe taken that ISO down just maybe one or two clicks, opened up my exposure one or two clicks, and got both of those things to be where you wanted them to be at the same time.
Okay.
Okay. So real cool. Continue.
Um, I'll do kind of one of the kooky ones.
No problem.
Um,
Oh, look at
so
this.
Oh yeah.
obviously Hawaii has a thing with chickens.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
I never knew that.
yeah, there's chickens and wild chickens everywhere. The chickens overrun Hawaii. You can't
Mm,
go anywhere without chickens in Hawaii.
I never
Um,
knew that. Mm,
so you know what I liked obviously is the coloring
yes.
of the main rooster, and then also how vibrant kind of the leaves are behind him.
Okay.
And I think that it focused a little bit more on the detail of the ground and like the twigs and the rocks on the ground versus pulling out the detail in his feathers. But I don't know if like zooming in a little bit more would have
Zoom in
helped
now.
that.
Go up to the top and zoom in, and let's see what you got. Should be like up to there you go. Go, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. All right. And so you can see that you have some detail there. Again, it's not what you want, but it's actually it's kind of like art in a way. You can see it kind of feathery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Can you see? Can you go down to see the fuzz on his legs? Or yeah, yep. Yeah, you see. So yeah, just you know what this is all about focus. And more than likely, if you check your camera, when we get to that point, you're gonna look at your focus and you probably have it where it's focused on everything as opposed to focus on single shot focus or the focal point is in the middle. It didn't know what to focus on. So what the
Okay.
camera does is it makes a decision for you. It's like, okay, I don't know what's important here. Is it the trees? Is it the bushes? Is it the dude walking by? Oh, let me check his foot. Can I get him? And it just makes a decision. If you don't tell the camera what to do, it is already set up to do what it thinks the best thing to do. Okay.
Okay.
So you'll see the difference when you try to find another place that has chickens and see if you can duplicate a shot of a moving chicken. I think that would be a fun thing to go find, Sierra.
I know, right? Track down
Yeah,
some more
it's like
chickens.
I got. There's people with chickens in their backyard because I think I told you guys I work for the USDA, and we have people that have to go to their house and say, your chickens is running too wild. They're not doing this or that. It's kind of crazy, but it's an actual person running around everybody's house checking their chickens. So I don't know what would happen with them in Hawaii though. They probably be going nuts. Okay, you got one more you want to share with us?
Sure.
Awesome, awesome. So what I understood for you that out of that photo, the main thing you wanted is like full focus on the rooster and the chicken lead, his feathers, et cetera, more than just the ground and everything around them. Right.
Yeah, and that was kind
Okay.
of going on with, trying to figure out how to photograph, animals and moving animals. I didn't have any of the cats or dogs that I had pictures of. It was much more of the, trying to show that if you're going to take a picture of an animal, you want to get that detail of the animal, not the surroundings of the animal.
Outstanding. All right. Wow, this is dramatic.
So I was trying to, obviously this was a way the rocks are, the waves would come in and kind of do the big huge splash across it.
Mhm.
And what I do like about the picture is it has, even the greens on the left side, there's actually a lot of detail in the vibrant greens to the left. And then you see the volcanic rock on the right. You can see actually the holes, even that real deep red color in there. And then the spray is very vibrant that you can actually pick out, individual things of that. So this was one of them that I liked. Obviously, I had to take about 100 different shots of it coming in with multiple waves in order to get it that it was kind of splashing up in this manner.
If you wanted to add something or take anything away, what would it be?
I don't know if things are more artistic. This is what, you were kind of talking about. I always try and center on the frame what I'm looking at. And I
Hmm.
don't know, kind of, with either animals or chickens or, this sort of shot, is it something better that you almost want to offset? So obviously what I'm really trying to capture is that center of the wave kind of coming up, but I don't know does it visually look something better to the eye if you have it not dead center, but you have it in a different part of the frame? Because I'm always striving to obviously put the focus of what I want in an image in a dead center, but I don't ever know if that's where you want it to
Awesome.
actually be more aesthetically pleasing.
Great observation, because actually that's what I was going to move towards. We're getting ready to talk about rule of thirds, and that's where that lesson will come into play. And what I want to challenge you with is go look for other splashes that other photographers have taken and then see the composition of the photo. Is it dead center? Is it off to the left? Is it off to the right? Is it just opposed to this and that? All right. I want you to look for splashes against a mountain in Hawaii. Don't look for one in California. It's going to be different, right? Get as close to your reality as possible when you're looking at comparisons. Not to compare your work to theirs, but just get an eye for what it is you're looking to do, because I like the grays in the sky and all that stuff. And as I said earlier, and you said it, it's subjective. Somebody else will look at it and go, "What's that white spot in the middle?" Somebody else look at it and go, "Oh my gosh, look at the droplets that's coming out. It's just beautiful." Somebody else is just like, "Man, that is amazing. Did you see the face that's coming out of it? It looks like a native face coming out of the top of it." You see what I mean? It's
Yeah,
all whoever. Did you see the face?
yeah, right there.
Yeah. It's like, hey, it's rushing wind is coming through. He's like, hey, I just had to let you know I was here. So
Yep.
on the island, cool
Love it.
stuff, right?
Yep.
So, all right, good deal. All right, thank you very much. Who's going next, Sierra?
How about Nikki?
You have anything to share? We're on mute.
I only have the few from the class last time, and they're not,
You
really.
go for what you know. Go for
I
it.
mean, I'll show
Share
it,
what you
but
have. It's up to you. I mean, this is
it
up to you. Share it. If you don't want to share that and you want to do something different, that's fine. Again, this is everybody sharing what they already have and what you're trying to do better in the future. Like, you don't have to share that. It could be any photo that you've taken that you want to
well,
improve.
well, of course, my stuff was with the cell phone mostly, and I didn't really upload them from the, into the computer. I have the one from the class, so that's it.
All right.
That's the gist of things. But
So what I'd like you to do is next class, have them
mhm.
upload it from your phone, because that's you could just use a small little cable. They give you a
Yeah, I
cable,
have
or
them.
you can actually
Mhm.
and just go ahead and go into the DCIM, which is where it's at. There's a
Mhm.
folder called DCIM, digital something something image something, and you go in there and it'll say photo, and then you just open them up and save the ones you like to share so that you can have them in class. Because I really need everybody in class. I need you to share a photo, because that's why we're in a photography class, right? So we want
And
to
I
make
do
sure
have
our
one I
share
can share
sharing.
from the class, the one I put
Yeah,
up
yeah,
the
you
other
can share
day.
whatever you want. I'm just saying, bring it to this is so you can get better. So I can't help you if I don't see what you're already doing or give you insights on stuff if I don't see what you're doing.
Well,
Right.
I'm
So
gonna
yeah, you
share
can
it.
share. Go for it.
Uh, so this is when we went out for the few moments at the class last fall
Hmm?
that I took with my camera that I brought to class, not the cell phone.
And what were you shooting? Like, what was the reason why you shot this shot?
The reason the assignment was to go out and use the natural light of the sun behind us.
Right. So showing
So
how natural light reflects and what happens and how do
yes.
you manage to your subject when
I mean, the
there's
subject, of course, was the gazebo, but I mean, on the side, you can see the shadow of the gazebo, and I don't see necessarily where there's a lot of focus on the leaves in the tree. The gazebo seems pretty sharp, but maybe not, you know. You
Okay.
know?
Well, yeah. In this feature again, it's right dead center, which we talk about that. But it was a lighting class, so it was a talk. We really was shooting to look at how light reflects and where does it go, and how do you manipulate or manage where you are in perspective to the light, especially when it's shooting over your shoulder. Because if you were shooting from the other side into the light, you're probably have an underexposure and some other different things. In this case, you might have even overexposure because it's bright and it's light and it's white. So, you got all those reflective colors going on. One of the things you mentioned also in the fall is the leaves coming off the tree into the left. And yeah, it would be cool to if you were going to move to that subject, but that wasn't the subject. So I don't expect that to be as in focus as gazebo. But all right, cool. So we got something to move forward with.
And I do
And
have a
in this
couple
case, we'll talk
other
about
angles from it
mhm,
that,
right now. This is shooting into the light, right? You see where the
Mhm.
shadows changed.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, when you're looking at how can you compose your shot to make sure that the light doesn't overtake or be too many shadows? This is one of the things, positioning. Where do you position yourself as a photographer to make sure you get the type of shadows that you want?
One more,
Mhm.
that one.
Yep. And in this case, one of the things that was a bonus was the tree in the background, right?
Mhm.
And you found that, wow, I really like that tree in the background. It had this, you got, you could see the makeup of it. You could see some of the shaping of it, that type of thing. So, all right, cool, cool, cool. Thank you for sharing. And who will you be calling on next?
I guess I'll do Chrissy.
All right.
I picked a whole different bunch of pictures. The first one I want to show you is preview unknown. How do I click? Let me see. I'll just show you my desktop. This is kind of where I started with pictures. Can you see the whole thing? No.
Not yet. I could tell that it's
Advanced. Okay.
yeah.
That's
Wherever the green window is around it, that's going to be what you're sharing on the screen.
well. Hold on. I
No
thought I
problem.
had it.
Is it up in front of you, Chrissy?
Yes, it says
Okay.
when I click on it, it says that I have to open system preferences. Okay.
That must be something on your computer.
All right. Give me 1 second.
What you can do is you go back out to where it says share screen, and then go back into share screen and see if it shows your desktop.
Okay. Desktop. Yeah, it just keeps giving me this open system preferences. I don't know what that is.
All right. Would you want us to come back to you, or
Yes,
you
please.
think you can try? Okay. So why don't you pick someone and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Xavier.
All right. Xavier, you're up.
I only have one.
That's okay.
All right. Let me share my screen. This is a picture of my niece on Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about what is it that you were going to do? Is there something that you want to do better? What's happening?
I guess I want to work on the colors. Look kind of like, I guess, dry to me.
Okay. And so when you say you want to work on the colors, did you expand? What do you mean? Change the colors?
Not change the colors necessarily, but like I guess give it a tint.
Okay. So you're talking more
Yeah,
from the editing standpoint of
yeah.
changing what you see. All right, cool. Anything in reference to composition or how, you were setting up the photo or anything like that?
Um, I seen her. She was looking. She looked cute, so I just took a picture of her.
No problem. All right.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we talk about is if you can see in this picture, like we, the top of her head, not giving her any headroom. You're gonna see what
Uh.
the difference of that is because again, part of composing a shot is where is the subject in reference to the frame, right? You have hands. Uh, I don't know if that was on purpose that you wanted the hands in the shot or not, because that could be a thing where you didn't want the hands, but then again, you might have to edit the hands out if you wanted to, if it's up to there. The other thing is having space on the left and the right. So just framing would be something I would share. And then eyes, usually eyes is in the top third or in the middle, right? So in the middle third. So you'll see the difference when I go over that shot to show you that. So cool beans. Anything else you wanted to improve on or think about in reference to why you're taking this class, Xavier?
No, not really.
Not yet. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
not yet.
So who will you choose to go? Is Chrissy, you ready, or should we go on to another person first?
I think I can do it now.
All right, so Chrissy's gonna take back her power, and it is back to you, Chrissy, and then you'll pick the next person.
Okay. Hopefully this works this time. Yes, okay. So share. A friend of mine needed baby pictures done. And so you can see from this one through my editing and all the extra stuff, I just didn't, the shots are really pretty. And so like when I took them in my camera, I was really happy with them. When I got them home, they were a little more blurred and not as detailed. So this is something that I've been playing around with and trying to get to the bottom of. But this is also edited as well. It's I did a little bit of this one in I think this is Lightroom, might have been Photoshop. And I can see, like, I personally can tell you all the little places that I did it. I can see all the different like spots and stuff. But I did this probably a few years ago, but this has kind of inspired me. Like I would like to do this a little bit.
You say a little bit. You mean like this would be your niche?
Yes, like a niche maybe. I like
Okay.
it outside. I have noticed that all my pictures that I've taken since then, I I'm drawn to the outdoor elements instead of having it an indoor. I've done family pictures indoors and they just don't come out as pretty because you don't have all the natural colors and stuff in the background.
Right. So you see yourself as a natural light photographer taking, photos of people in life events.
Yes, hopefully.
Okay. Now, did you, from what I'm seeing, her face is cut off.
Yes.
Is that on purpose?
Yes, this was just supposed to be the baby and the little flower. I left her face in it just you could tell it was her, right?
Okay. Well, I'm looking at it going, where's her face? But yeah, you can make that however you decide it. It's up to you and your customer. And as long as your customer is fine with it, that's the only person that you have to worry about, right? And so we're going to talk about composition. We're going to talk about some of the other things and the rule of thirds, etc. So is there anything else about this photo, based on you coming to take this class that you want to learn about?
Oh, definitely getting my resolution and everything. I want to make sure that my camera settings are
Mhm.
yes, I need to make sure that my camera settings are where they're supposed to be and not where I just kind of clicked around and pushed them.
All right. And so just for everybody's knowledge, when you are a outdoor photographer, or indoor photographer, or anything that you're taking on, you might want to invest in a small little booklet. And the small little booklet is so that you can write down your actual settings. What's going to happen over time, you're going to kind of know, okay, I'm outside, it's a little bit cloudy, it's after 1 o'clock, this is what I'm going to look for, blah, 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 right? But, you know, especially when natural light, because you got to know the best time for you to take photos, you know, and when is the harsh light coming in. Do you need a reflector so you can, you know, take advantage of the other things, soften the light, intense the light, redirect the light, all those kind of different things. Um, uh, one of the things that I would say also, Chrissy, is this just the idea of, you know, you like you said, the focus in the back. Because right now it's like a portrait photo. It's like a portrait photo, and you know, I think you did a great job getting the baby and the sunflower.
Yeah, they did.
100%. Yeah. What else you want to share with us today?
Let's see, give me 1 second. So this is the other stuff that I do. This is one of the indoor things that I do for the real estate side of it.
Yep.
When a house is put together like this one, it's easy because the colors pop and the time of day, usually I try to do it in the afternoon so the natural light comes in. This is also edited, which I don't like because sometimes, I don't know if you can see, like the flooring is not as detailed as it should be. It's almost like scratchy, and that's not how the actual picture looks. But in order for me to figure out how to lighten it up, I have to play with like the exposure and stuff. And I don't like how it comes out kind of dull. It's not as detailed as I think it should be.
I see the room the way that you want floor. Cool. Anything else?
No, this was one of my favorite houses that I did though.
Okay, awesome. And again, I would talk about the leaf. Like you got this big, giant, beautiful, I don't know, what's that called? Elephant plant or something.
Mhm.
And the the leaf of it is cut off on the left-hand side, right? You
Yep.
also have the cool, you know, setting in the floor, but you cut off the bottom of the rug. So when you're thinking about these photos, that's one of the things that you look in a catalog, a high-end catalog, and look at how the photographer has done it. Now, again, sometimes you can't get around it because you only have so much space on the page, and it goes in the Home magazine or Life magazine, or, you know, down in Southern Maryland, they actually have the Home Living magazine, and real estate agents use that to sell their homes. And so it's like you get your own photography put into this really cool magazine. So I would definitely look into that. But overall, it looks good, especially with such white. There's a lot of white, right? You
There
got the
was a lot of white,
kitchen,
yeah.
you got the kitchen, you got the light coming off the top of the cabinets, you got the reflection on the refrigerator, you have the table setting thing, you have the small, if you know, a little bit of that lamp is actually washed into the wall. I think because it's like set off a little bit, you can still see a little shadow. So those are little things that you would be looking at as you move forward in class to see, man, how did I improve? If I go back and take this photo, what will I do differently? Right. So, all
Yep.
right, cool. And you want to share one more?
And I have one more. This is something I took with my camera just recently.
Mhm.
Share.
And we'll be taking a break shortly, so thank you for your patience. Oh, that is really pretty.
So I went to San Diego for work, and
What?
they said check out the sunset, and I was like okay. And then I was able to get this shot. Now this is a little edited too, but for the most part I didn't have to do anything. I just played with the lighting. But this was one of my favorite spots, and I just happened to finally have the bird in it too.
Yeah, was you trying to get the bird on purpose?
No, he just showed
Okay,
up.
you just showed up. Cool. Sometimes you get great players in water photos. I love it when ducks and birds and
Mhm.
seagulls just kind of say, "Hey, what's up?" So, tell me about this. What else were you looking to do? Is it mainly the sunset, or you
I
also was
wanted to
trying to
make
make sure you
sure,
got a couple of waves?
yeah, the color of the water I was trying to explain, and so it didn't come out in this one. I have another one where you can see how blue their water
Hmm.
is, you know,
Yeah,
compared to ours.
yeah.
And you can kind of see it around like the rock area, but for the most part, that part didn't come out. But I was really happy that the waves were coming in, and the colors of the rocks. This is pretty close to what they look like in person. So
Mm,
it was very pretty.
yeah, you got all those different shadows and textures and the
Mm.
rock. Now, what part was this? La Jolla? What part of San Diego?
This was in, was it La Jolla? Right around there. I think it was Pacific Beach,
Pacific
maybe.
Beach. Okay.
Yep.
I'll be down there in May myself because I got a
Mhm.
4-day conference to go down to San Diego with the Association for Training and Development. So yes, and I love that the sun is over the horizon. How did you feel about your son?
Um, this was out of all the pictures that I took that day, this was my favorite because the sun actually had some dimension to it.
Mm-hmm.
The other one just kind of looked like like a little
Spot?
circle.
Yeah, you can actually see the dimensions of the 3 dimensions that I usually look for. It's the bright hot light, the light, and then the glow. And so, and then looking on the water, you also see the orange. You guys are going to learn about golden hour and blue hour. Um, Actually, blue hour would probably give you similar type of setting, but you'll get a lot of the blue hues from the water.
Okay.
Just as you did here in the sunrise. And then right as golden hour ends, you probably would have got a little bit more of that blue as well. But you'll see that when we talk about golden hour and blue hour, because those are the kind of shots. Again, when you think about this, do you see this on a wall at a hotel? Do you see this this photo in a book? I mean, do you see this in a card? I would use this to make something. And you're going to do that in class too. You're going to take photos and create a product. So I would keep that in my possibilities,
Okay.
especially with the bird. Okay. All right. Anything else that you took this class to improve? What else is it that you would like to see yourself improve about this particular photo?
Well, this is with my phone. I want to be
Yeah.
able to do this with my camera because I cannot duplicate the two for some reason.
So let me ask you a question. Could you right click and get the info off of this?
I can try.
Or see if it'll give you the preference or the info.
Uh, this is
It
coming out
could
of
be on
my,
see if you can just like hover on it and right click, or if it'll give you info.
this is out of my Dropbox, so probably not.
That's okay. Let's just see if the photo itself has the info. Like click on the photo, right
Yeah, it
click.
doesn't let
It
me.
doesn't let you do anything.
No.
Okay, cool. No problem. So when you get it down and off of the system, I'd
Uh-huh.
like you to right click on it and get your information. And it's going to tell you, it should tell you if it's set up in your camera, what the f-stop was, what the ISO was, and what the shutter speed. And then you write those down. So the next time you're trying to find that, you can go down to Solomon's Island and attempt to get a photo with those elements.
Okay.
All right. So
Thank
cool.
you.
Who are we calling on? And then I think that would be we got 2 more people. So let's get 2 people going and then we'll take a break. Are we calling Devin or Ann?
Devin, do you have one?
I don't. I'm sorry about that. I don't.
Okay. So and you said that yesterday Thursday night. So I
Yeah, I should be able to
I
get
got
them.
it. You about to get some today because we about to do the
Okay.
exercise when we come back. So
Okay.
you'll have some. You got your camera though, right?
I got does my phone work? I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
don't
you
have
can
the
use your
camera.
phone.
Okay.
However, remember your phone has the same capacity to do this stuff. You just got to know where to look. So there's a Pro Tools. If what do you have, a iPhone or a Samsung?
iPhone.
All
iPhone.
right, on the iPhone, it's limited that you can change all this stuff because they put everything, they set it all up in there. but you still have a button somewhere on there, and I don't know, exactly where it's at, but look into your settings, and then you're gonna on your camera settings, and you should be able to see that there's some things that you can manipulate. But just for tonight, today purposes, we don't. You're not dealing with all that. You're dealing with some other stuff. So
Okay.
you'll be able to use it, and you'll be using it in landscape mode. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So you'll be shooting in landscape mode. All right, and you are up.
I haven't anything today. My daughter's going to help me with all of this over the weekend, and I hope that I have many pictures I'd really like to share. But
Okay.
I'm a little behind on the techno aspects, but I have a daughter who can help me, and I'm hopefully by the next lesson I will be able to share several of my pictures.
No problem, because we're getting ready to do an exercise, and I'm going to ask you to come back and share in a little while. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to take a 10-minute break, right? It's 10, like almost 10:15. You're going to take a 10-minute break along with a 20-minute exercise. All right. So I'm going to give you one lesson when you come back from break. You're going to take a 10-minute break, come back. We're going to do a quick 5-minute lesson, and then you're going to go do some stuff. Everybody understand? All right. So let's take our bio break now, 10 minutes, come back. And that's at 10:25, according to I give you 11 minutes. 10:25, we're back in the room, and we're going to do a quick 5 minutes. And at 10:30, I'm going to send you off to do an exercise. Got it? All right. It's an indoor and an outdoor exercise. So I'm going to be expecting you to do something in your house and outside the house. It could just be in your backyard or whatever, but it has to be inside and outside. Everybody good with that? All right, cool. All right. So see you back in at 10:25.
I had better change this. All right.
just reminding you because you weren't here earlier, but you can come into any other future classes if you decide. Just let me know and just pop on in. And then if you wanted to kind of go back over.
Going into an office, working 50 hours a week, having that structure.
All right, so we're back, and I want to share a video real quick, and it is part of what I use for marketing, but you will see individuals from previous classes. And so let's go ahead and share that real quick. Certain piece or whatever. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Who is next? We have Amanda and we have Rebecca. Amanda's going? Okay.
You want to play rock, paper, scissors for it? No, I'm just kidding.
There you go. Rock, paper,
Scissors, shoot.
Yeah, I always
scissors.
lose. We can if you
Okay.
want to, but I
Go
seriously
for it. Go
don't.
for it. Let's go for it, Rebecca. Come on, ready?
Okay.
All right.
Rock.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
See? I
Rock
said.
wins.
No, paper
No,
wins.
paper wins, right?
Yeah, paper covers rock.
Covers the rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you get to choose or do you get to, do I go first because I lost? You didn't really.
I mean, it doesn't really.
Okay, I mean, I
It
can
was
go.
fun.
It's not a problem. So like, here's the thing about my presentation. So like when you gave us the instructions, you said, oh, just put it in a thing that will just go by itself. So that's what I did. So I don't have to talk at all during my presentation. Because there's music.
Well,
So
you got music too.
Oh.
Okay.
yeah, I got music. So I don't mind going now.
I was going to put music on mine too, but
Floor is yours.
I had
for it,
I
girl.
had entirely too much time this week. So I spent it on this and I mean, like, I don't know, sometimes as like a parent, I'm always like, oh, where's all my free time? Like, is that even a thing that parents can have? But for some reason this week I actually had it. So all right. let's see, I'm on a different machine, so just bear with me. Okay. Do you know is there anything I have to do to share the music in a different way?
Yeah, you want to make sure that when you share your screen, it's going to give you
Okay.
that little thing on the bottom that says optimize for sound. You want to click
Okay.
that little sound. So if you didn't do that, unshare, then reshare, and you'll see it on the bottom. Just got to make sure you tell it to
Okay.
share the sound.
Let me try again. Oh, share sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when you start it, it should kick in.
Okay. Can you guys see it? At least see my screen?
Well, once you
We
put
can
it
see
in
your screen.
presentation mode, we see your screen. So it
Okay.
should take over once you do presentation mode.
Okay. Do you want me to talk about the class first or after?
Yeah, that's up to you, however you decide.
Okay, how about after, since I got it all
Okay.
set up?
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
here we go.
beautiful.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
That was a little weird not talking for the whole time. In hindsight, perhaps I should have actually just said something, but I had a lot of fun in this class. I'm going to stop sharing. I originally started looking for classes to take because I hadn't done anything since my kids were born. You know, my eldest is 6 and I haven't done anything since she was born. And I tried to do things on my own and learning my camera on my own, and I just couldn't do it. Not for lack of trying, but one of the things that I really appreciated about this class was the sharing, because it inspired me, and it really motivated me to come and share every time. Also, just because everybody's pictures were so great, and even just, you know, watching people from the beginning to the end, including myself, that kind of transformation is just great. I just enjoy that. The biggest benefit that I had from this class was getting to know my camera. Before I took this class, I would literally take thousands of pictures and hope that one was okay, and it would take hours to go through all the pictures that I had taken and then edit them so that they would be just so, you know, the way that I wanted them to be. And now I know how to shoot manual mode. It was terrifying, but I did it. And when I'm shooting, because I'm conscientious about the composition and the different aspects of the photo and what I want to highlight, I don't have to take as many pictures. And I've also found that I didn't really have to edit them as much when I got them, you know, onto my computer and, you know, taking a look at them and reviewing them. I was finding that I didn't have to do as much editing. Some of them I didn't edit at all. Some of the ones of my youngest daughter I didn't edit at all because they just came out, you know, because I took the time beforehand. And
I'm gonna stop right there and in that. And so this is the, you know, area that I really want you to spend time for the next 35 minutes, 30 minutes, 25 minutes. When she came to class, she was a mom who spent all her time being a mom and going to work, supporting her family, and she did nothing for herself. She said photography was one of these things she always loved, but she didn't have the time to really do it the way she wanted to. And COVID hit, and people had more time, and now they were like, okay, what am I going to do with that time? And this was one of the things she chose, photography. And so hopefully you got inspired with a little bit of that. I will send you the full video in your follow-up emails. So what she mentioned and what you saw at the beginning is the first big lesson is composition. And I've been using the word a lot in this last like half an hour, 45 minutes, because I really want this idea to sink in. Composition, the rule of thirds is so it's one of these things that it's like a foundation of you being a photographer. Now, I will say there are rules to the rule of thirds that you can break, right? And still get on a phenomenal photo. So don't think you're stuck in this box. It's not that. It's just that aesthetically where people's eye goes and where you send them is important. You compose composition, you create the window of what is important. And I shared that earlier. Like if you look at the rooster and you look at the woods and you look at the ground and you look at the plants, you look at all that stuff, right, Sierra? And you're like, what's really important here? And at the end of the day, what was really important was the feathers and the detail on the rooster. So we want to make sure we compose the shot where the rooster is the main thing and everything else is secondary. In some cases, that primary is not that far away from everything else, but you still can look at the photo and know I'm really looking at the rooster as opposed to the plants. And I'm only using yours as an example because it was a prime example of how something could be the prime reason why a photo was taken, but everything else was so in focus and so beautiful that everything became important, right? And so rule of thirds is one of the things. So what you're doing here is your subject in item or person, whatever it is, I'm going to use the word subject, whether it's an apple or your family, right? The pregnancy, where the person stands, right? Now, how the body is positioned in the photo. All of that is part of composition. The rule of thirds is one aspect of composition. And the reason this is important is because of what I said earlier, where you crowd in or out the subject, or you lose the subject in the whole photo, in the frame. And what you want people to know is what's important here. Now, if you was trying to say, where's Waldo? It doesn't matter. Then, okay, everything is important, right? So they just kind of look at the mountains, they look at the footprints, they look at the ocean, they look at the splash, they look at everything, right? So it's up to you. So what we're going to do is put the subject in one of these corners. So you have somewhere on your phone and your actual camera a grid. I want you to find your grid. Now, on your camera, let me come off and talk about it really quick. You're going to have settings. And inside your settings, once you look at your menu, you're going to check your menu. And you're going to look for the grid lines. Some of you already have them already on your viewfinder, right? You may have it already on your display. So if you do, then that's great. And what it is a reflection inside that you don't see on the photo, but you definitely see here. If you have a cell phone, it's usually easy because you can just turn it right on and right off. It's like one button. So Devin, I would expect that you would go ahead and use yours on your phone, right? Xavier, you might do the same thing if you going to use your cell phone, right? I want everybody to know where it's at, because what you're getting ready to do is I'm sending you out and away, and you're going to come back. You're going to go away, and there's going to be a couple of things I need you to do. First of all, find it, and let's make sure everybody knows that, right? Because when you look through and you get ready to shoot, I want you to know for a fact that you have that in there. If you don't use it, that's okay, because you can use your eyes, right? And when you use your eyes, then you got to take this in consideration. So what you see here is the subject, and I'm going to use this apple, my apple, to represent what's on the screen, right? If you can see both of us, most of you can see both of us. This is the top right. As you look at the screen, this would be top left, bottom right, 4 corners. The main subject is here, or here, or here, or here. All right. You're going to pick an item that is something inside your house and something outside your, that's in the outdoors. Because I want you to do natural light and indoor light. All right. Put it on auto. Make sure your setting is on auto right now, because we're not going over any of the other stuff. So I don't want somebody to come back and their picture is black because they don't know anything about the settings. All right. Make sure you take off your lens cap. And you're going to shoot a subject, and you're going to place that subject in all 4 corners, the one subject. So if I was taking a photo of this apple, I'm going to set it somewhere. Or you might have a figurine, somebody like gnomes, so they brought a gnome. Somebody like one lady, she had a crab on her wall, so she used a crab to do this. Somebody else took all the spices and they put them on the table and they used the spices. I mean, somebody else used a figurine from their kids who had Star Wars or something, or I think it was Lord of the Rings. And you use whatever it is you want to use, all right? But use the same object. And you're going to place that object somewhere, and then you're going to use your camera to put the object in those four corners. That's your first assignment. You're going to do it for indoor and outdoor. So you're going to take about 10 to 15 minutes indoor, walk outside, 10 to 15 minutes outdoor, well, actually 12 minutes because it's going to be 30 minutes total. So you got 15, 15, right? Just take 15, 15 and then come on back, right? So I'm going to give you 15 minutes for the first part, 15 minutes for the second part, and we're coming back at 11:15. Everybody got the assignment? Right, understand the assignment? So let's make that let me see what's here. Yeah. So if you notice, see this gentleman right here? He's in the rule of thirds, but where is he? He's right dab snack in the middle. All we want to do is move the lens over and get him into one of those spots because the sky is important, the city is important, the mountain's important. So all we want to do is offset just a bit. If you look at this building, you got two things that are competing in the foreground. You have the female, the model, and then in the background you have this beautiful old shed, and even further in the background you have this tree, and even way back in the background you have the yard, the ground actually taking you on a journey out into the woods. So all of that is composition, all that's important. Laying it and layering it and putting it in the right perspective is where you're going to see the best option for the photo. Not that somebody else might not like it, but this is the general sense of it, what makes for a good photo, right? And here you have a woman on a train, right? And she's crowded at the bottom of the window frame. So I might want to, just have her slightly over to the left or to the right. And then, of course, there are photos where you break the rules with the middle ground. But look at the foreground of this photo. The horse is back there. You got the horse running. You got the beautiful water reflection. You got the beautiful sky in the background. You got this expansive space around him or her. And you can, it's breaking the rules, right? Horizon shot. But again, it's part of composition. This person taking up the whole frame, right? That's breaking the rules. Take up the whole frame. But you see the whole tire, the back of it and the front of it. What would be an issue for me would be that you cut off part of the tire. You got a lot of headroom, but of course there's some architecture there. Now, what you got to be careful for is when you have something behind someone and looks like it's coming out the back of their neck or back of their head or coming out the top of their head. Those are all part of composition. And as you move, look at what you can do to make that photo better. Just think about, what can I do? Again, these are just horizons, and you got the foreground, the midground, the background. And so that's part of using what's called a zigzag pattern. It's like a V. You can use that for your composition with the rule of thirds, right? Here you have one dog up, one dog back, but who's the main attraction? The one that is fully in focus, right? And again, subject, look at where the subject is at. Little kid, he's looking into the future. You want to give that same expression. He's in the top quarter of the right. That's where his head is at. Think about, where are the eyes? If you focus on the eyes, in a lot of cases, you're going to get this right. If you focus on the other parts, you might miss it. Another thing that would be in a way is if his backpack there or his little rocket ship was off to the side and you didn't know what it really was. You see it kind of like a, Buzz Lightyear, but is he really Buzz Lightyear? I don't know, right? Coffee cup. So here where we are, you're now going to do your exercise, right? and you're going to do the same thing. You could use a coffee cup, you can use whatever you want, but I'd like you to go ahead and take on this challenge. And so I will see you back here. It is 10:50 right now, right? So giving you 15 minutes to go, 15 minutes to end, plus give or take 1 to 2 minutes there. And so I will see you back at 11:20, 11:25, right? So see you back here. Any questions before we go from anybody? Be prepared to share. So you're going to come back, be prepared, get it up, get it ready to share. And that way we can see what you decided. 3 photos at least on the inside, 3 on the outside. Excuse me, 4, 4, 4, and 4. 4 on the inside, 4 on the outside. Everybody good with that? See you back in a few minutes. If we was on campus, you'll be just going out and around campus, just like we did, Nikki. But now you're at your home. See you in a little bit. All right. So it's all about how well you are doing right now and how much you will improve over the next few days. Right. And I really say over the next few days because I mean we move it pretty quickly through these processes. Now, composition, as I said earlier, it's not just the rule of thirds. It's not just, that. It's a lot of different things. What's in the foreground? What's in the background? Do you have balance with light? That's all part of composition. Do you have a subject that needs to be complemented with something in the shot, to help tell the story? Mainly is what story are you actually attempting to tell with this particular photo? A lot of people just point and shoot and they just pick whatever's in front of them. But what I really want you to consider is this idea of creatively thinking about what you want and then going after it. Now, one other method that some people do when they have both cameras, like when I go to shoot, like last night, football is a fast moving sport. You think you know where it's going and then boom, something happens real quick. So you got to be ready with the right speeds and all that kind of stuff, right? And I wanted to get close because I was using my phone, my cell phone, and I was like, dang, every time I go to the game, because some places they won't let you bring your camera. It's against the NCAA rules because they want to tell you that you're going to try to make money with their photos or whatever. I forget. But anyway, you want to make sure you pay attention to that, right? And what I was saying is that you can use your cell phone to set the shot up and kind of get an idea. Because one thing about your cell phone is always usually right there with you, right? As opposed to your other phone, your camera. And so when you have both available, you can look through and see, okay, how is this going to set up? Can I, get closer? Can I change the focal point? What if I change my position? And so again, composition is also relative to where you are as the actual person shooting in reference to where the customer or the viewer will be once the shot is taken. And as you remember, I talked about having it too busy, right? Where you don't know, like, what's the subject? What's the subject matter? Who's really important in this shot? So I want you to make sure you pay attention to that as well, because that's going to make a difference. Let's say you have a family and everybody's out at the beach and the waves are coming in and you're at the line, you're at the shoreline and a bird is coming through and your little child has a sandwich, right? You might have that moment where every single thing about that is important. The seagull's about to take the sandwich out the little person's hand. The wave is crashing in, looking amazing. The child is in the really cool spot, in the hole that they dug for the with the sand. So all of that stuff is important. So now it's composition as to where the waves in relationship to the child, where's the bird in relationship to the child and the wave, and where is the child, the bird, and the wave in reference to the full beach. Now you're making like all these calculations real quick and deciding, oh, I need to move here, or I need the focal point to be here, or I need the focal point to be there. Those are the things that photographers take into consideration before they shoot the shot so that they get it. What most people do is they shoot everything and hope that they got something. They come back and go, ooh, let's see what I got. I want you to be more intentional. And this is what part is. Now, if this is basic again, we're going to move up on a different level, but this is like getting the foundation straight so that the stuff that we talk about later works. Any questions? All right, so I'm just going to call out names and have you just go. And so I'd like Ann for you to go first. If you can't go, I know you said you're going to wait for your granddaughter or someone, your daughter, right? You still cool? All right, so we can move to the next person. I just want to make sure nothing changed since we talked. You're good to go? All right, so we can wait, pass on to the next person. Okay, got it. All right, Sierra, you're next. And then we're coming to you, Nikki. And I'm just calling how you are on my screen. Still don't see your screen, Sierra. There we go. Okay. Oh, you had a an agent.
I did. He was actually doing well with cooperating this time.
I can see he's looking right in the lens.
Yeah.
It's awesome when animals like they know what the heck's going on.
Right?
We just don't know they know.
No. So he finally cooperated the first time. He didn't cooperate as much, so I got just the background, which was kind of that same shot, but I was trying to get the flowers kind of in the third to the right. And then the other natural light one that I got was another one actually cooperated with that. Liked the cat was in the frame and you can actually see the detail of the fur, and kind of the background was blurry on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then for indoor ones, I kind of was trying to go artistic with a little bit more of them.
Okay.
So this was, that little bit more challenging of what do you put in the third? So I kind of put the tall tree up in the right hand third with it. And then I kind of played with another cat shot, and even though she's kind of full screen, I kind of put her head in that upper third so that was more of the focal point of it. And then my final inside one, I kind of did the still life. Just grabbed a couple of glass vases to kind of put in those shots in there. So those were the kind of 3 indoor and 3 outdoor that I selected.
Okay, so I'm not going to talk. I'm going to ask you guys to talk to Sierra. What did you see? Do you have any questions for her? Any comments? Don't everybody speak at once.
I like the colors in all of them.
Okay.
The light on
awesome.
the outside is really nice too, with the tree.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
the outside one, it was just good lighting, I think, with it being a little bit cloudy, a little overcast, and so the lighting really popped with that. I tend to have less good color when it's that really bright light.
Okay. Anyone else?
I like the one with the cherry blossoms. I mean, you know how you had the tree, it was leaning over to the side. That was what my eyes were drawn to, even with the cat eyes that was just basically prim and proper sitting there. you know, but the eyes were the ones that captured me, you know.
All right. Thank you very much. Any more sharing for Sierra? All right, who's next? Let's
It's
see. I
me.
said it would be Nikki, and then Devin, you're after Nikki.
Well, good luck with that. Uh, mine's boring. Okay. Hold up. My share is not popping up. I had it ready and now the share part is not popping up. Hold on.
You want to let Devin go and then you come back to you?
Trying to see if I can open
Okay.
the screen back up. Go ahead, Devin, and I'll come back. I just expanded the wrong thing.
Okay. That's not the one. Open system preferences. I'm having a problem too. It's about open
I
system
actually
preferences.
I can go back, but it's not going to
Okay.
be the whole screen. But hold on.
All right.
Uh,
I mean, when you're sharing, you got to have whatever it is already open and ready to look at, as if it's right
right.
now, right in front of us, and then you share from there. Excellent. Got it. Good.
Was okay. Here we go. Is it sharing?
Yes.
Okay. So, I just put a little bear, floral bear that my son had given me on a stool on the wall. So there's no real different focal points in it. And I just caught it from the different angles. Tried to at least, you
You there
know,
now?
just
There is a small little hidden way to move your photo from the next photo to the next photo to the next photo. If you
Mhm.
hover right around the edge in the middle of the frame, all the way to the right edge, you'll see
Mhm.
a little arrow pop out,
Oh
and that way
yes,
you can kind of move from one to the next, so you don't
yeah,
change the aspect ratio.
right. Okay.
Because then we won't see the whole photo.
Okay, and then like I said, I just took it from different angles. Of course, each angle presented something like the bear, the stool, and then the outlet. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, in the light in my home. I didn't turn on any lights. I just used the light in that living room area that was
Okay.
there. And then that's and you can see when I got here, I don't know, because of the light on the left coming from that other room, it darkened.
Yeah, your lens is gonna try to find all the light that it can.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went outside and I did this old lawnmower. Why this one is on the bottom. And the same thing, just all four different angles, which got a better shot of the whole lawnmower as opposed to, you know. So that's it for me. I didn't have
Well,
anything exciting in the yard.
no problem. The assignment was accomplished, and that's the mission was accomplished. That's what I want you to do. Questions, comments, thoughts for Nikki?
Yeah, I really saw with the different lawnmower pictures, your eye being drawn the way it's actually kind of neat sometimes doing that same composition and moving it around the way that you did it instead of different compositions, because you could really see how your eye draws to the different places. And I did notice I didn't like the one as much with the lawnmower centered in the middle there.
Mhm.
And I did actually like it better once it did kind of get a little off angle of it. So yeah, I can see how your eye does get drawn when you kind of move that same composition around. So it's kind of neat seeing how moving it around, you can see how you can favor things a little bit more.
It
All right,
changes it changes the perspective, and what it also does, it can change the mood of what it is that you're shooting, right? Because that's kind of like one of the things. So you know, keep that in mind. You want to change the mood. You might want to get higher. You might want to get lower. Think about like if I want to tell a story is sad, I'm gonna get real close, and I might want to be off to the side where you could see this tear laying on the face as opposed to straight on the face. You know, those kind of things. All right. Uh, okay. So Devin, you ready?
Yeah, it says open the system preferences.
Oh, so you having the same situation that Sierra had at first. So she had
Mm-hmm.
to I mean Chrissy had, I think, right? Sarah, you had the over you gotta do that preference thing and then it'll work. So let me call on Chrissy, could you mind going? And
Nope, yep.
then
And in
it
that
will
system,
be
that
come back to
system
Devin
preference,
once
you
he
just
gets set
gotta
up.
click it. The
Oh,
system preference, you gotta click,
it was you. Okay.
sorry, I'm looking at it. Hold on 1 second. It's the Zoom one. You'll see it. It actually makes you like toggle it. So hopefully that helps.
See if that works, Devin, for you. Or tell me what you see on your screen because I don't know. I might be able to walk you through it. So you've seen the green button, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I see
All
it.
right. And when you click on the green button, what comes up? It should be a screen that comes up with a bunch of choices.
Yeah, it says desktop one.
Is your thing that you're trying to show on desktop one, or is it in one of the other boxes?
It should be on desktop one, yes.
Is it showing on desktop? When you look at it, does it show on desktop one?
Oh no, it doesn't.
That's the issue. You got to have it in front of whatever is on your desktop. It's almost like you got stuff on your desktop and you got something on top of it and on top of it. So if you got open windows or whatever, you got to close them down or shut them down and bring up the one file that has the actual photos in.
Okay.
And you should be looking at the photo, not looking at us right now on your desktop. And when you do that, you'll be able to share it.
You have that little lock. If you go into system preferences, you have that little lock at the bottom where it says it's locked. You see it? It's an actual lock.
Oh man, I don't see it.
All right, we're gonna move to the next person, Devin, and then we'll come back to you, okay? I gotta be, you guys gotta be able to share your screen to do this. And I can't, I wanna, I wanna get everybody in before we get to 12. So Mike, could you, I mean, Chrissy, excuse me, could you go? And then we'll come back to
Sure.
Devin. All right.
Is that sharing? Hold on.
Yes, we see multiple photos up, but I think it's the frog.
I was trying to find things.
Mhm.
Here's one. Made my son pose. How do I get out of this?
And this is everybody had their camera on auto.
Yeah, the one I clicked, when I clicked it, it focused on this one for some reason.
Okay.
A few of them do, a few of them don't. Here is one of the dogs that didn't want to participate. But you can see she's hiding.
Okay. And you have her in the top quarter, top right.
Yes. So this
All right.
one was one of those that had different focuses on it.
Mhm.
I was trying to get all of them in there. But this one is supposed to be the main focus.
Okay.
And here's the last sassy one. She did not want any part of it.
I'm looking out the window. You can't see
Yep.
me.
You can't see me. Okay, so outside, that's it. And then this was outside, bird feeders. And none of my flowers are up, but I thought this pine cone.
Yeah, the pine
tree
cone
was
looks
kinda
kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And then let's see. This other one, nice.
Okay,
All
nice
weeds.
dandelion. Yep.
And I think the last one is also. I thought that was kind of cool, the grass.
Yep. Looks good. You got a lot of the blades of the grass, and that's cool too. Okay.
There it is. Stop sharing.
All right. Any words for Chrissy? Anyone? Thoughts?
I thought the outside ones were pretty good because I love the detail with the grass and everything, especially the dandelion. It made me just want to reach up, pick it, and blow it.
Love that. Great comment. Thank you so much, Nikki, for that. Anything else for Chrissy? Anyone?
I think I like the bird feeder. The lighting was really good and the technical detail of the intricate of the metal, and then having the two of them kind of offset in the two different thirds looked really neat.
Awesome. All right. Devin, how we doing? Oh, shoot. He disappeared. Okay. Right. Xavier, could you go? And then Mike, you'll wrap us up.
I only got the indoor ones because it was kind of wet outside.
Okay.
Yeah. 1 second. Let me find it. All right, here it is.
Okay. Devin, we thought you was like, I'm not doing it. I'm out of here.
I
Oh
got
no.
Devin like, oh.
It's just a picture of a coffee mug. I didn't really have any other subjects. So
Okay.
yeah.
You took the one photo of it, or did you try to get them in the 4
I got
quadrants?
multiple, but it's only letting me show one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if some of you guys want to stay after class and go over sharing, I will do that again with you. Whoever else, I knew last time it was some people, and then they left, and it was wind up just me and Miss Ann. But I don't mind staying a little longer just to help you with the sharing. And if between now and Tuesday you want to reach out to me to do it as well, I can work with you on that too, because it's really important. And when it's not happening in a certain expedited manner, it takes up a chunk of time. And I really don't want to do that. If we can avoid it by giving you a chance to contact me, I'll walk you through it, work with you until you get it, and then you get your process down. And it really helps. And it helps everybody here because it slows things down a little bit when it doesn't go through. And I want to help you out with that because it's what we're going to do the rest of the hours that we got to make up. Okay. All right. So let's see.
Yeah, I
Devin,
got
you ready?
mine working, by
Okay.
the way. I think so.
Let's go. All right. Devin gonna have a masterpiece.
Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I tried to
Graduating Blue Bears.
Yeah, I got this when I graduated in 2020.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I tried to get all 4 of the different boxes.
Okay.
I didn't. So here's 1, to, this was supposed to be the lower left.
Yep, got it.
Okay.
Upper
I'm looking
right. You could tell a real serious story with that bear. You could be having to like say different things. It'd be kind of interesting on a video. But yeah. Okay.
And it's outside.
I like that you use the same subject
Yeah.
inside and outside. That's cool.
And this is the last one.
All right. Thank you so much, Devin. All right. I told you he's gonna have a masterpiece, y'all. So comments to Devin.
Like the bear on the post the most.
Bear on the Post the most. That might set, that's
There you
a
go.
children's book. The Bear on the Post.
Yeah.
Okay.
Being in a
Security bear.
different being in the different settings, it made it look like the bear was coming to life and wanted to party.
As I said, it did start telling the story. He's like, yo,
Yeah.
y'all should have seen when I was over here. And then I was in the kitchen getting ready to get something to
Absolutely.
eat. Cool. All right.
All right.
Well, thank you so much, Devin. All right. And bringing it all home is Mike. Mike. You remember that commercial, Mike? You're too young for that.
No, I remember that one. I
That
got
little Geico commercial.
that was my life for like 3 years on that.
Well, in a while. Okay. He's like, I don't want to hear that. No
Yeah.
All right.
All right. All right, so I don't know why these aren't maximized. There we go. I stuck with, y'all move locations. I just stuck with the same location just to see what it would look like in different spots. So I used a Rubik's Cube, just like a simple subject, but it would stand out against like a white and black background. So I just moved it into the different thirds. And as you can see, like, I don't know if y'all agree, but I would say the first one probably looks the best as far as lighting and the shape of everything. So that's the way I went for that one. And then outside, I tried, I found this tree and there was bees in it. I tried to get them to be the subject, but I couldn't quite get close enough. And the camera didn't focus on the bees specifically. It focused more on the leaves. And I was trying to get it to focus. My camera is set to continuous right now. And yeah, so since they were moving, it was a struggle. So that's one thing I'd like to learn how to do is get the focus.
It was still in program mode, right? You didn't do it manual. It
No,
was
no,
just on
I was
continuous.
on
Auto
mode and
continuous.
focus was on
AC.
auto as well.
Okay.
Continuous autofocus is what it was on.
Yep. I got you.
So like I said, I didn't get close enough for them to really be the full subject, it looks like. But if you look in, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but if you look right here at this guy, I was trying to put him in the upper right.
He's in the upper right quadrant.
And then this one was down here.
Down in the lower left.
If anything, I should have just got a little closer, I think. And that would have worked out better. But that was the goal at least.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So comments and support for Mike and his mastery here. Well, I will say, Mike, you took an interesting subject because bees tend to they just go to work. And they're really cool subjects because they're working. They're like, listen, I don't know what you're doing, but I got some stuff to do here. I got to get this pollen because if the queen don't know I'm going to get back on time, we're going to have problems. All right. So you can come up with some cool photos with them. And even from where you were, it's actually, was that the length of your, also the longest length of your Zoom?
Yeah, I had 24 to 70, and that was at 70.
That was it. That was at 70. Okay, cool. So yeah, you definitely want to get closer then. Now, what can you do? post-production, right? Post-production, you can probably get nice and cool up on there. Just long as it's good DPI, dots per inch, you will be okay. Because again, dots per inch is part of that pixel story, right? So you want to make sure that that's happening. So what were some other things that were going on that you probably were like, I'm not sure or whatever, but thanks, Mike. Let's give Mike a hand and everybody else a hand. I want to throw a reaction out there. You guys did a great job on this activity. And again, you get out what you put out. And so the more you do, the more you see the changes about what you had. Similar to Devin, when he used the same subject, you saw the massive change just right away. You saw the dramatics of the scene change. Now he had his also where most of the time the blur was in the background, right? So kind of like a portrait shot in most cases, except for the one where it was on the table outside, and that's everything was in focus. But think about how he, you saw the different story that was emerging from the bear, right? Same thing with Mike when he had the Rubik's cube. What you saw was leading lines. That's something we're going to talk about next on Tuesday, because we're going to continue this story, this idea of perspective. I'm going to send you an assignment in their email. It'll be an assignment for you to do these two things, and that way you will come back next week with even more. You can use the same subject that you used, or you can choose a new subject. It's going to be up to you. I don't tell you what to shoot. If you want to shoot a particular thing, like I really want to do landscape, then do landscape during class too, because that way you kind of get a feel for that. If you like shooting water, because one of your assignments is going to be to stop water and to make water look like mist and make water look like a fog versus the actual hard water. So when you get to that point, you'll be able to make those decisions too. And one person went down to Solomon's Island, and there was this stream that has this break in it, and it kind of comes down. Another person went up here to Virginia and went to the falls, and took some dramatic photos of the waterfall. I don't tell you where to go and what to do. I just say, hey, go have fun. Have fun, but use the information, right? Dynamic symmetry is a thing that happens. You'll see stuff happening where everybody's kind of positioned into the photo a certain way. Think about an old photo of you where you had the whole family there and there was a couch and there's one person standing there and another person there. They were placed in those positions. That's dynamic symmetry. If you come down from the top to the bottom, there's a line. And just think of these invisible lines that are breaking up the photo in all kind of different kind of symmetric things, a triangle, right? If it's here, there's something in this area, there's something in that area, there's something in this area, there's something in that area, but they all balance, right? You got that. That's like that classic stuff. So we're going to be dealing with that, right? Don't forget where you are to the subject. That was one of the things that we saw. Sierra was where she was in the space of the subject. Very important, right? So we want to keep those things in mind as we move forward. So based on what we covered today, go ahead, Nikki.
And that's what I wanted to ask a question. When taking all of the different quadrants, we're, instead of trying to move move the subject, we should be moving our bodies sometimes, right?
Almost 80 to 90%, because the subject is doing its thing, unless you're doing like setups where you're like, hey, I need you to stand over here. I need you to stand over there. But think about it. You're at the park and your grandkids is jumping around, or your kids are jumping around, or your animal is running and you're throwing this frisbee or whatever you're doing. They're dynamically moving. You're the one that now have to decide where the focal point is. Right. And then you take the shot. And if you're, some people like to shoot their kids, shoot their kids. I don't like that term, but it's photography speak, right? To shoot, but photograph their kids at a soccer game or football. Football's a good one. Last night, right? So where is the ball in reference to the person? That's two subjects all the time that you have to play. Soccer, real one. You go out and watch soccer games. The ball moves quick. And you got to be able to catch where it's going, where it's at, where the person is in reference to all of that. So those are really important things to think about as you move forward. All right. Any other questions? Any other thoughts in reference to what we covered today? All right. Think about context, right? You heard it. I didn't say it. It came right out. The bear, going back to Devin. I told you Devin's gonna, he was gonna create something amazing, right? So it almost started to tell a story. Nikki was like, "Oh, it was speaking to me," right? Context is important too. Sometimes you want everything else blurred out so that I could really focus in on that one thing that's in that quadrant. You want everything else to kind of fade away, and like the bee, right? Like the cat with the beautiful eyes. It was like mesmerizing, right? It looked like it's in a basket, and it's like, wow, it's deep inside the basket. So it's it how does it capture what's the story? What's the story? What is it saying, right? And so that's all relative. And again, we're going to talk about light and light balance later on in this. In there were some light options to talk about in this, but I'm not going to get into that right now to make sure that. And it was one other thing I wanted to say. Oh, you know, again, you can fix certain things in post production, but if you get most of it right up front, it's less editing that you'll have to do. Okay. You will learn intro to editing. I'll just show you 2 pieces of software to play around with, but those that are already familiar with Lightroom and what's the other one, Photoshop, if you would like to share that day on what you do with your Lightroom, I'll turn it over to you and you can share how you go about making some edits. So it's actually going to allow you to teach part of the class as well. I had somebody do that before because someone had took a photo and it looked like there was nothing there. It was too dark. But the classmate was like, no, let's take it into here and we can find it and blah, blah. And it emerged because it was a water treatment. It was a water what do you call it, fountain, and it was spraying all really pretty and stuff. But when they took the picture, it was about 6:30 in the fall, and it was just getting too dark, and they thought they lost it. But the person was like, "No, here it is. Let me show you." Boom, 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 and they did a couple of little things, and it just merged this beautiful photo, right? So sometimes in post production, that's going to be important. All right. If you have any questions, you have my phone number. All you got to do is reach out and touch, and I'll take it. No problem. If I don't respond right then and there, it will be like within the 48 hour, a couple of hours of that. Text is always faster than the email. So if you email me and you didn't get a response, send me a text. I get a lot of emails. All right. All right. So all minds are clear. Any other conversation, any other questions, anything else that we need to talk about?
With Tuesday being a different day than we had on our schedule, what time on Tuesday?
Same time. Is that okay? Let's do this. Let's do a quick. I'm going by with everybody. You already had Thursday identified, right? Is it okay to do the same time, or you need a half-hour difference, or you're okay with that time on Tuesday?
Will it be 6:30 to 9, or will it still be 6:30 to 8:30? Because you said you might add a half an hour.
What I like to do is add the half an hour. It's been given to me. She responded to me. She said it's up to you guys. And so I present it. If you say okay, you want that half hour is not a big deal, we're gonna add that half hour on.
I'm fine.
Because it seems like we need that a little half hour in the 2-hour class. So we do
Yes,
two
I'm
and a half,
fine.
6 to 9. Was it
6:30 to 9?
Yeah, 6:30 to 9. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was thinking of my other class from 6 to 9. 6:30 to 9. Everybody okay with that? And if you have to go, you're gonna get the video and the recording, but I definitely want you to try your best to show up. You can see how being present matters, right? And sometimes it's not for you, it's the other people in the room. They're looking at what you're doing and they're getting inspired, they're getting encouraged, and then they feel like, man, I could do better, right? Okay, well, have a great day, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you on Tuesday night, 6:30.